Welcome to the Scrap Empire. This is Zach Hayes speaking, and today we're going to be talking about a very important bout on the preliminary card for this upcoming UFC Fight Night. Now we're going to be featuring Abdul Razak Alhassan going up against Alessio Di Cherico. Now, I analyzed and I really paid closely attention to everything, to the movements, to just the walk, the walk of the fighters while they're transitioning into the ring. The lights, the mannerisms that the fans are showing, every little single detail counts. Now, I'll get started with Abdul Razak Alhassan. Now, there's a fight on UFC Fight Pass that goes up to 22 minutes. And he fought this really interesting guy, right? Now, of course, like I said, I pay closely attention to how the physiques, like to the physique of every fighter that I'm watching. It's not so much that you subconsciously draw a conclusion or make it or internalize to yourself that a specific fighter is going to win just off what they look like. But physiques do play a little bit of a part in just analyzing fights. I didn't say determining a winner or a loser, but analyzing fights, they play a huge role, right? It just gives you a little insight of what the fighter is about. It doesn't guarantee anything. It only gives you an insight of what that fighter is about, right? Now, during this fight with Abdul Razak Alhassan, number one, he was getting tagged a lot throughout all of the rounds. I mean, it was only a 3-round fight, right? He was getting tagged a lot, right? By basic 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 punches, right? And the opponent that he was facing again, right? This is why it's extremely important you have a boxing or a kickboxing coach who understands fighting foundation. Fighting foundation can be taught to everybody. And just off the way how he was landing his strikes against Abdul Razak Alhassan, he takes a lot of pride and puts a lot of focus on getting on landing his shots. Right, and I mean, of course, Abdul Razak Alhassan, you know, he can hit, but just from that fight, he wasn't showing a sense of urgency while he was in the ring. He was getting hit too much, and of course, the guy's strong. Of course, the guy has the ability to stay in the ring while he's getting hurt. Not hurt like he's getting beat up, hurt, but I mean, he was getting hit with a lot of shots. Now, I'm sure there's a reason why he went to decision. There's a reason why he went to decision because his body's durable. Now, because his body's durable, of course, he didn't get knocked out. He didn't get technically knocked out, but he was still getting tagged with a lot of shots. And I'm just telling you from what I see from a superficial perception standpoint. Now, I have to get started with Alessio Di Cherico, Abdul Razak Alhassan's opponent on the preliminary cards this Saturday. Alright? Now, he fought a guy named Julian Marquez. UFC fight fans, go look it up on UFC Fight Pass. Now, Alessio Di Cherico and Julian Marquez. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I saw Julian Marquez winning the fight at one point, only because he was landing a lot of strikes against Alessio Di Cherico. Just tag him, right? But this is why every fighter who is represented from a different geographical location is always going to bring you something new that you've never seen before. Alright? And now, of course, we've seen plenty of guys show the fans, show people the ability to take their fighter on the ground. Right? But this is why it's extremely important you have a counterpart or a counter effect to a specific style as well. Right? Because Alessio Di Cherico had about 4 to 5 takedowns against Julian Marquez. Not only did he have a lot of takedowns, he was landing a lot of leg strikes, landing a lot of head strikes as well. Now, of course, from a superficial aesthetic standpoint, Julian Marquez landed some pretty great shots as well, but Alessio Di Cherico kept up with the rhythm throughout the entire fight. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. Because it wasn't like Julian Marquez wasn't a slouch. Landing strikes, he's a pretty strong guy. And he's coming and he wants to fight for something. Which is nothing wrong with that. But Alessio Di Cherico timed Julian Marquez. He had him on the ground for more than a minute. Now, of course, Julian Marquez got up, but it just showed you that Alessio Di Cherico is a well-rounded fighter. He can hit, he can kick, he can punch, he can kick. He has ground defense and ground offense. Right? So, let's say if I was building a UFC character on a UFC video game, I would literally put Alessio Di Cherico as a balanced fighter. He's good at everything. He isn't great at one thing, but he's good at everything. And that's exactly what I would like. That's exactly what I define as a well-balanced, well-rounded fighter in the Ultimate Fighter Championship. That's exactly what I see as somebody who has the ability to compete long-term in the Ultimate Fighter Championship. A well-rounded fighter. Someone who can do... Someone who has not so much an expertise in one, but has a good amount of knowledge in various abilities. So you have those there's a certain reason why Jorge Masvidal, one of my personal favorite fighters in the UFC right now. There's a certain reason why Jorge Masvidal. There's a certain reason why this. An old UFC heavyweight. You guys are familiar with him, UFC fight fans. Stephon Struve. There's a reason why those guys were never able to win championships. And Stephon Struve, there should be any reason why he didn't win a championship in the heavyweight division because of his height. He's the tallest UFC fighter. He's the tallest UFC fighter of all time, and he still didn't win a heavyweight title. Why? Because they're good. They have an expertise at one martial art, which is great. But when you meet somebody who has a counter effect to that, how are you going to? When's the adapting? When's the adjusting? I want to know, and I want to know, and I want to see. I want to know, and I want to see, because you need a counter effect. Because unless you have the ability to be predictable and still be unstoppable, great for you. But I would recommend to every fighter that it's going to come a certain point in time when people know your game. It's not that they know it, but there's so many attributes and there's so many aspects that come into fighting. Timing, accuracy, endurance. All of these little details allow people to flourish in combat sports. Now, I broke down everything from an analytical standpoint. I broke down everything from a perception standpoint as well. And I broke down everything from a philosophical standpoint. Now, who do I see winning this upcoming bout? Of course, I think Hassan is a good fighter, but I just don't see him being able to combat against Alessio Di Cherico. Just see, because the fighter that Hassan fought, he wasn't even taking him down, but he was landing strikes and he was a strong guy. Not to say that Hassan wasn't strong, because he is. But what are you going to do with how are you going to adapt and adjust against somebody who's just as strong as you, not only just as strong as you, but has demonstrated at least a tactical ability to stay on the ground. This is what I'm talking about with having a counter effect. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Scrap Empire. Like, comment, subscribe to my content. Thank you all for watching my videos. Thank you all for watching my content. Please leave any constructive criticism and on the comment section below to let me know how I can improve my videos. Please leave some feedback to let me know how I can improve my content. Thank you all for watching. Love you guys so much. Bye-bye.